So we all know how toxic Scientology is, and that anyone who talks badly about it ends up getting sued. And this is what makes this such a sad situation. So anyone who's ever grew up watching South Park knows what a staple the character Chef was to the first 9 or 10 seasons. Chef was a big part of the show. Everyone loved him. Fans would come up to him. He had concerts. He even had his own video game called Chef's Love Shack. I never played it at the time, but when I got older, I emulated it. It wasn't great, but it just shows what a big character he was. Now, his son finally has spoken out after 14 years. So Issac Hayes III says, for over 14 years, people have speculated about my father, Issac Hayes, left South Park. I'm here to set the record straight. My dad did not quit South Park. Scientology did. After the episode Trapped in the Closet aired in 2005, my father suffered a stroke just a few months later that left him unable to speak or make decisions on his own. He was not in any condition to resign from anything. The truth is, someone else within his Scientology circle made that decision and quit the show for him. He loved being the voice of Chef. He loved the character. He loved connecting with his fans. He would joke with people who recognized his voice, and he truly enjoyed being part of the show. The narrative that he quit because he was offended by the satire, that was a cover story created by others. My father never got to speak for himself because his health robbed him of that chance. So now I'm speaking for him. He did not leave South Park willingly. He was forced out by illness and by people who did not have his best interests at heart. For anyone who loves Chef, this is for anyone who admired my father's work. This is the truth about what really happened. And this actually does check out and make a lot of sense, especially for the time period. Tom Cruise made a big deal when this episode aired. Scientology made a big deal, and I'm sure they faced a lot of lawsuits. They actually first ended on good terms before killing off the character Chef in a really gruesome way. And I'm going to assume that's because of the push Scientology did. Probably pissed off the creators of South Park. So in 2014, Issac Hayes' son actually spoke out in an article on Crack that didn't get the coverage it deserved. So this little snippet here says, and this is a quote from the creators of South Park, Issac was the nicest guy and we had a really great working relationship, Stone said of Hayes. Presence during the production of South Park's first 9 seasons, and he even admitted that he and Parker deliberately left Chef and Hayes out of the making of Trapped in the Closet. That's the episode that caused all the controversy, to try to avoid causing friction between Hayes and the rest of the Scientology, hoping to give him plausible deniability. So they even tried to help him in the situation, leaving him out saying like, hey, Chef didn't know anything about this. Issac Hayes, same character, didn't know anything about this, and you guys should just leave him alone. Obviously, that's not what happened, and this checks out because his son actually spoke out before, again, didn't get the coverage, and said, at the time, everybody around my father was involved in Scientology. His assistants, the core group of people, Hayes continued. So someone quit South Park on Issac Hayes' behalf. We don't know who. Hayes then added, my father was not that big of a hypocrite to be part of the show that would constantly poke fun of African American people, Jewish people, gay people, and only quit when it comes to Scientology. He wouldn't be that much of a hypocrite. Even his health declined, Hayes would always have more of a backbone than a certain fudge packer. That fudge packer being Tom Cruise. That's a whole episode Tom Cruise got super upset about when they kept calling him a fudge packer. And South Park have always been the ones that if you get offended, they will double down. They aren't scared of the controversy. They aren't scared of the drama. And all this does check out. Him having the stroke, not being able to speak for himself, and how toxic Scientology is. That all adds up and makes it a very sad situation. Now, you might be wondering why it took 14 years to speak out. Well, he actually did speak out a year before. It didn't get the traction that it deserved. But I'm going to guess that Scientology put pressure on him. And back in those times, you'll see a lot of celebrities speaking out now and a lot of people speaking out about Scientology. They were probably pushing against his son and threatening his son with lawsuits and other things to not speak out that kept his son quiet. He probably just hit the point where enough is enough. And that is completely fair. We don't know what was going on behind the scenes. I'm hoping now that he took the first step forward and he's now speaking out about it, that he will actually explain why it took so long. I think if you're going to go at Scientology, we at least deserve that much. So why did it take 14 years to come out? But I'm going to assume that he will come out and just say the pressure from Scientology or the threats he was getting from them worried him. Because if his father was surrounded by all those people, as he explained, like everyone in his father's circle was a Scientologist, him being the son of Issac Hayes was probably also surrounded by those same people or people within those groups that were probably making these threats or filling his head with nonsense. We have no idea what was going on, if he was indoctrinated into Scientology or not. The article doesn't touch on that, but I'm sure in the coming days he will speak out about this. I think this is a great chapter closed in the South Park history because now we know the truth and we can finally lay the Chef character to rest. Everyone loved it and everyone hated how Chef was written off. I remember thinking, like, I can't believe Scientology made him quit. That shocked me. And nobody liked the move. It just didn't make sense to anyone to be part of that show. And then that's the reason why he quit. So I'm happy that the truth is coming out for Issac Hayes. And it's very, very sad what Scientology did to him in his later years and in his health of not being able to speak out for himself. That's completely awful, and no one should disagree with that. That's all I got for this right now. I'm ranting longer than normal. Like, comment, and subscribe to support a human, not AI, and I hope you all have the best day.
You can't just call somebody a fudge packer and get away with it.
Hey, is that fudge packer Tom Cruise?
That's it. I'm suing this entire intolerant town.